Hey guys, DPG here, hackhollywood.com, and I keep having to look down because I'm going down the stairs, so hopefully I don't take a tumble. I just want to share a story that I think is very illustrative of a problem a lot of actors face, and it happened to a client of mine. She has lots of actor training, and she had an audition and it really did not go well. So I apologize if she sees this video and feels singled out, but I think actually after we talked, we're both in a good place. So really the topic of this video is, so you think you know how to act. And what that means is you've got lots of acting training. Maybe you went to university, college, whatever. You've done a degree. Maybe you've done a couple of year program in some Los Angeles or New York acting school or London acting school. And you know, you think you're all that in a bag of chips, right? And the theory is you are, but unfortunately you've just trained to be a general actor, and it doesn't really mean anything. Because everything in life, it's like you're an athlete. Okay, well, so what if you're an athlete? What sport are you good at? And not only what sport, but specifically what can you do? And how often do you practice it, etc. Because, I just want to look at this in two ways. One is, what is training, and how much training do you need, and when do you stop? And the second thing is practice. So there's training and there's practice, okay? And both things are incredibly important, and both things are often confused and overlooked, okay? And they're not thought through, okay? So, first of all, let's talk about training, okay? If you say you've got training, you must have some kind of specific training, right? You've got training to be a Shakespearean actor, or maybe you've got training to do commedia dell'arte. You've gone to school. They've taught you how to act. They've taught you some things about memorization, maybe scene study, breaking down scripts, characters. I don't know what training you've got. You know, cold reading, scene study. There's tons of it. Meisner, Strasberg, Adler. There's just so much training out there. But what does it all mean? And what did you do? So let's look at what a lot of schools do. They prepare you with these big parts, you know, and these iconic projects. And you know, you're trained to play King Lear, Lady Macbeth, these, you know, Arthur Miller, these big parts. And they've been done 1,000 times, right? And so there's a lot of ideas behind them, and people have done them over and over and over. And it's huge, and you work on it for months at a time, right? So it makes sense that you might think you know what you're doing at that point. So they release you into the world, and maybe you've done some plays, but you had months probably to prepare. And so you prepared, and you probably did well, I'm assuming. Let's just go with that. And so you've got this training, but then you break into the world of Hollywood and New York, TV and film, and now you're like, oh, okay, well, how long am I going to have to prepare for this? Oh, I don't know, an hour? An hour, maybe overnight if you're lucky. So what does someone do when they're used to months and months to prepare for a scene, and all of a sudden they don't have the time? They're given hours, right? And where's the background? What's the backstory? What did this character do before, right? And there's this whole concept of making choices, whatever that means. And I think making choices is sort of like, in the absence of information, doing coming up with something to fill in the blanks. And, you know, I'll tell you right now, that doesn't work, okay? You cannot fill in the blanks because the stuff was just written and nobody really cares and nobody needs to know what happened before, what the relationships were with other people that are in the scene. You can't make that stuff up. So if it's not there, don't worry about it. Just work with what you've got. Do you need a backstory for Goldilocks? Goldilocks and the Three Bears? No. Do you need a backstory for The Wizard of Oz? No, you don't. You don't need a backstory. In fact, all of the best stories, even Shakespeare and all that stuff, starts when it starts, and they start as late as possible so that you can understand it. That's all they're going to give you is enough for you to understand it. And I'm talking about the audience. And that's exactly how you should prepare as an actor. All you have is all you need to know to do that part competently. And what that means is bringing yourself to it. Okay, so you've got this training, but you don't get to use any of it in TV and film because all you have is yourself and this material that was written hours ago, maybe minutes ago even, maybe yesterday, and it's going to be rewritten maybe 2, 3, 4 more times before it actually ends up on air. Nobody tells you this stuff, right? And you don't think of this stuff because you're like, well, I have this training, so I'm going to use the training. Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you don't have the time and you certainly don't have the information. And there is no backstory. And there's none of this thought process, oh, it's cold, brr, I'm drunk, oh. You know, all there is the words and the facts. That's it. And you've got all this training. You're like, how do I apply all this training? You can't. Throw it all away. Hopefully you've got confidence. And confidence in yourself, not in your training per se. You've got to have confidence in yourself as an actor. And you've got to figure out, okay, what parts am I right for? What parts am I not right for? Don't bother going after the ones that you're not right for. Go after the ones you think you are right for. Meaning, like, it's obvious. You read it and you're like, that's me. I would fit in there. And just stick to that, okay? So that's the training side of things. But it leaves you woefully inequipped to actually do acting in TV and film because you don't know how to prepare stuff fast, and you don't know how to prepare it at all, even if you had all the time in the world, because you have training that doesn't teach you to do specifically what it is you need to do, which is preparing TV and film roles, which have nothing to do with iconic material like Shakespeare or Arthur Miller or whoever the great playwrights are, George Bernard Shaw, whoever you choose. The training that you will get at a university level course, whether it's a bachelor or a master's, leaves you completely unequipped to do television or film, okay? So let's just start there. You're screwed. Now you're starting over. I'm going to tell you what to do. So, knowing that you are completely unequipped to do TV and film auditions, you need to learn what skills are required to do a really good TV and film audition, okay? And what you really need to do a really good TV and film audition is speed and trust in yourself, okay? So let's start out with speed. What do I mean by speed? I mean that you're able to get the material and you can pretty much turn it around in a half hour. That's all you need. That's all, any more than that and you're just stretching. I mean, unless it's so much material, it takes more than a half an hour, to read it and understand what it is that's actually happening. But the biggest auditions you're gonna get for the most part, and this is way down the line for most of us, it's maybe 10 pages or something. So that's three-page scenes. And of course, you're not memorizing all 10 pages. You're just learning what is happening in those 10 pages. And that's all you're ever really required to do is learn what's happening. Okay, memorization is a myth. It's a fallacy. You don't memorize. You learn and understand. Once you've learned and understand what's going on, then you just play. You improvise, and somebody gives you some words that you can use to enhance your improvisation. So speed, back to speed. You got half an hour, okay? That's all you need. And so how do you do something in half an hour? Well, you just do the basics. You do the fundamentals. You start with yourself. You know who you are. You know what your opinion is. When you read it, you probably had thoughts about it. The whole thing, right? I'm not talking about your part. Forget your part. This is actor performing problem number one, is making it all about them, making a big deal out of it, because nobody else is making a big deal out of it, and nobody else is making it about you. You've got to forget yourself. You just got to understand, what are these people trying to accomplish? Meaning the producers. What is it they are trying to make? And like, they're building something, right? They're building something, and they need somebody to fit into it. So that's what you're trying to do, is see what it is they're trying to build. See the big picture first. Once you understand that, you'll not only understand your part, you should understand every single part, and you should also understand how you would play every part. Like, what does it mean to you? Oh, this person's this person's that. The character they want me to play is this. And you treat them all equally, and then they go, oh, well, we would like you to try this part. Oh, okay, let me do that. Okay, you want to wait before you take on anything personally, because this is where actors go wrong. They make it all about themselves and the results and, oh my gosh, am I right? Am I not right? The first thing you need to be doing is thinking about, what the heck are they trying to do? And it's not that hard to figure out, right? Because when you read a script, let's say you see a script for Law and Order, if you read it and then you watch the show, you're not going, oh my God, I didn't think that was what it was about. You know, oh yeah, that's what I read, and now they're doing it, right? And there's not like this, oh my gosh moment where this actor made this brilliant choice. They did what's written on the page as a real person, right? It says, the mother cries when she finds out her daughter has been kidnapped. I mean, like, what do you need to do? It's simple, it's straightforward. Anybody could do it, okay? Anybody could do it if they were willing to do it, if they were willing to go there, if they were willing to put themselves in the shoes of that mother, okay? I could do it. If I was willing to put myself in the shoes of that mother, I wouldn't be believable, but I could do it, right? Anybody could do it. They would never pick me because I wouldn't be right for that part. But let's say you are right for that part. All you have to do is commit to it and be believable. What does it mean to you? That's all you got to do. What does it mean to you? Okay, so that's the speed part. You just read it. You go, okay, this is what it is. And then record all of the lines. Just tell the story. Like, you read the the whole thing, the instructions, the directions, and you read all the lines. Just record the thing. Just record it and play it back to yourself. Well, try and learn it so you can tell the whole story first, okay? That's the first step. Learn the thing, every single fact, right? So it's just like if I told you Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the first time you told it back to me, you might miss a few facts. You might forget something, that I told you, what she was wearing, or I don't know, time of day, whatever. You might forget something. And I might say, oh, you forgot a couple of things. So you go back and do it again. It's not going to take you more than a few minutes to figure that stuff out. So now you got the story, right? You know every single thing that's going to happen. You're basically now comfortable as an audience member. You understand, like you can visualize the scenes, the show, whatever it is that you have. So now that you know what it is and you can present it, like you could tell somebody else the story and pass it along, so to speak. Now you're ready to just record it. Just record it on a voice recorder and play the whole thing back, but leave a space for your lines, okay? You're not gonna say your lines, you just wanna have a space, okay? So that you can have a feeling, a reaction. So you can start to take on that person's role. That's all you're doing. Okay, so you just play the whole thing. You don't have to, you can play the directions at first. You can record the directions at first. And eventually you'll move away from the directions. And so you just play it. The facts are happening as they're happening, and you just react to them. Okay, just have a feeling, whatever it does to you. Okay, that's step one. Well, maybe it's step two. Then the next step is where you just record the spoken lines, so you know what actions are taking place because you've read them several times. And then the next step is you simply